Well, we're off to our typical late Sunday start. It's already 2 p.m., but here we go. I told Johnny to get ready and get in the car, and he saw that I have my water camera, but he doesn't know where we're going. I have a little surprise in store for him. He doesn't like it that I'm pulling his chain, but it'll be all right. Won't it, Johnny? We'll have a good adventure no matter where we end up. So let's see where we're headed. Tuxie! Yeah, are you a good boy? Yeah, are you hiding in my ferns? Yeah, hi, good boy. All right, Tuxie, I'll be home in a little while. So, Johnny, where do you think we're headed right now?
I think we're heading to Yates Mill, but I have a feeling it's either Lake Wheeler, Yates Mill, or someplace I don't know about yet.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Lake Wheeler's pretty close to Yates Mill, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what do you think Mom brought her water camera for?
We're gonna go swimming, I believe.
You think we're gonna go swimming?
Yep.
But I did tell you you wouldn't need your bathing suit unless our plan A failed and we had to go for plan B.
Well, guess who's turning into Lake Wheeler?
Are we turning into Lake Wheeler?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess we are turning into Lake Wheeler then, aren't we? So there's a code red low water warning at Lake Wheeler for the boat ramp. People can't launch boats out here right now. The lake's too low. But what do you think we're doing, Johnny?
Canoeing, am I right?
I don't know. I think he's getting warm. Well, Johnny and I are out here on Lake Wheeler. We've got a tandem kayak for an hour. We're having a good time, aren't we, Johnny? Yep. Turn around and look at Mama. That's my buddy. You're doing a good job up there. I kind of got us out into the middle of the lake, and then I let Johnny have at it. See what he can do. Show off his skills. It's nice out here. It's in the low 80s. There's a little bit of a breeze. Because the water is so low, as we come close to the little cove and bank over here, we can see a lot of interesting pieces of driftwood. It's pretty cool. It's something you don't see all the time. Right, Johnny?
Right.
I've never really wanted to live at the ocean, but, you know, on the lake, I might could handle that. Those folks up in there, they have it nice. Here's a bunch more driftwood. So Johnny says that we are not deep at all here. We're only about, maybe 18 inches or something. He's very interested at various points in the lake how deep we are or aren't from a scientific perspective, not because he's afraid.
Right now I'm kind of anchoring, guys.
Really pretty and comfortable out here today. That's back the way we came. We'll head back that way in a minute. It's hard to say exactly which way the wind is blowing on the lake today. It felt a little bit like to get out to where we are, that we were going into the wind. So hopefully on the way back we'll be going with the wind. Okay, Johnny and I went up around the little cove to see what we can see, and off in the distance is a bridge. And the lake goes on for a while, but I think we're about ready to turn around. I'm letting Johnny do all the work for a few minutes. I would have to say that actually heading back, we're into the wind. But it's good. The breeze feels good. Doesn't it, Johnny?
Not when you're going against it.
Glad to be out here today with you, buddy. There are other people out on the water with us today. There's 4 tandem kayaks over there and a sailboat. Like I said, it's a great day to be out here. well, Johnny and I had a successful outing out on the lake. We were out there about an hour, I think, and was nice and breezy and not too hot. It was really great running into Master Go and Master One from our taekwondo school, our masters. We enjoyed meeting up with them, and I think we'll head on back to the house.
I'm always wondering stuff about electric vehicles, and I wonder something. So for an extra big vehicle like a tractor trailer or a camper, would it be more convenient or faster to charge the battery if it was cut into 2 or 4s, or would it just be more convenient if it was just 1? Because think about it, if Tesla were to build a camper, then you'd want it to charge as fast as it can, because it'd probably be a bigger battery. And if you had it so 2 batteries they could charge on a supercharger at one time, I think it charges faster, but we're gonna ask Mr. Don and find out.
Sounds like a good idea, bud. Interesting question. We stopped here at Hook and Cleaver, and we're picking up some bacon burgers.
Try to look at the front vehicles, look way in the back.
Okay.
There it is. Did you see it?
I've dropped Johnny off for an hour at the splash pad to play. They'll be closing it down shortly after Labor Day, and we only got over here one time this year, so I wanted to make sure that he got in another play session. Hi, Tuxie. Hi. Look who's waiting for me right when I got home. Hey, buddy, how are ya? You good? You just hanging? Alright, I've headed back up to the splash pad to get Johnny. I think it was a good learning experience for him to stay up there by himself for a while. He's old enough per their rules, and you know, sometimes today's parents, we hover too much. This is a perfectly safe environment for him to spread his wings a little bit. Close to the house, well staffed, lots of other helpful parents up there. Was a smallish to medium crowd today, so you know, I thought that was good for him. But anyway, I think he spread his wings a little bit, and that's good.
Yeah, bud.
So, if you were to split a battery into 2 pieces, would that be more convenient to charge it for, let's say, a bigger vehicle like a tractor trailer?
What you're saying is, would it be better to segment the battery into modules for charging purposes?
And then have 2 ports.
Well, that could help in some cases. It depends on what the total capacity of the charger. In other words, the actual electricity is being supplied by some support equipment, and it's going to have a maximum rating. So certainly, if you could come up with enough modules, and of course each module have its own charger input, that they could aggregate together up to the maximum available power through the support equipment, that would certainly allow you to do faster charging. Usually the battery charge is limited to not what the battery can take, but what the circuit supplying the electricity can deliver, and the actual charger, which converts the AC current to DC. That device has a current limit also. So that's usually where the limitation is. The battery itself could probably charge much faster if those other devices could support it, but they can't.
Well, I think what Johnny was seeing was like a truck or RV camper that would come to a Tesla supercharger, and it would have 2 ports, and it would hook up to 2 different superchargers. And then we wondered, well, there would have to be some switching mechanism, like a tanker truck or a big truck that has 2 fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Has to switch from one to the other. Then I guess it'd have to switch from one battery segment to the other.
Right. Well, again, it would probably, for utilization, instead of having one great big humongous connector, it would probably be better to have multiple connectors, multiple of the supercharging posts that you pull up next to, with cords that you would plug into the front module, the middle module, and the back module. We'd plug in 3 different things, and each of those separate things with modules would be charged independently, and that way the cable wouldn't have to be so big. You could do some type of battery balancing. In other words, it's very likely that you're running on the front battery, and then when you get close, you run low, then you run on the second battery. It just depends.
It's at least possible.
I didn't mean to say it wasn't possible. I'm just saying is there's a lot of things that go into charging, how fast something can charge. And the reason that we don't have high-speed charging at our house isn't that Mr. Don is so cheap he won't buy a high-speed charger. That's not the reason. The reason is our house the circuit only supplies about 100 amps. 200 amps. So a high-speed charger at Tesla, it's running like at 300 amps. So it's the actual supercharger, one supercharger draws more electricity than our entire house does. So that's why we don't have a DC fast charger, is that the service to our house cannot supply it. They did not lay out our subdivision's grid to have that high intense amount of demand. They expect each house to draw, maybe 50 amps to 100 amps average throughout the day, and they can't take this house drawing 200 amps, this house drawing 200 amps, this house drawing 200 amps simultaneously. They can't do that. The power company doesn't like that either, because that's high peak demand, and they don't like peak demand.
So Johnny, did that sort of answer your question?
Yes, Mom.
Okay. Way cool.
So next month we'll find out more about what the future of large vehicle charging is going to look like when Tesla announces their semi-truck, their tractor trailer. It can be a combination of high-speed chargers where they charge the battery on the truck, possibly battery swaps where the battery might be built into the trailer or something like that, and the part with the motor and the driver and the cabin just simply hooks up to the trailer and they change out the trailer. Don't know, but we should find out more next month when Tesla, it'll probably be a combination. Some situations battery swapping will make more sense, and other combinations just plugging into really high speed chargers. I mean, the Tesla talked about 350 kilowatt chargers are in the future. I could certainly see a truck type stop having the need for a 350 kilowatt charger, which is approximately 2.5 times more powerful than the current supercharger.
Wow.
And like we discussed a little earlier, a battery in 2 halves could also be used.
Yeah, segment, like Mr. Don said, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's going to be interesting. I'm sure Johnny's going to want to watch the semi stuff coming out. That's going to be, really interesting for all of us to figure out.
Elon has said that he plans to have sustainable solutions to all segments of the transportation. And the next segment he's tackling after cars, personal transportation, he's moving into the freight, tractor trailer type segment. That's where he's moving in. Other companies are coming out with electric buses. RDU right here in Raleigh just announced that they're buying 4 all 100% electric buses. The FAA gave RDU a grant that made up the difference in costs between buying modern diesel-powered buses and all-electric buses. The price difference between those two, because the electric buses are more expensive, the FAA gave RDU a grant to cover that additional expense. So RDU says they have 14 buses in service carrying people between the terminals, between the parking areas. So the 4 oldest buses are going to be retired and replaced with 4 100% electric battery-powered buses.
Way cool.